there. Hang on, just try to plug. Okay, we're good.
And YouTube is not giving me the link, which is great because we're already live. Man.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Sorry, it's a little technical difficulties here. Usually, there we go. There we go. Right. Get the shareable link. And we're out on Twitter. You guys can see, retweet, whatever, comment. All right, everyone. We are live. Welcome to another edition of the Toxic Happy Hour. Today we have Adam Meister in the house, and Pop Lord, and myself, Danish Hodl. First of all, Adam, great to have you. Awesome to see you here. Thank you very much for coming on. How's it going on in the world of Bitcoin today for you? And first of all, what are you drinking?
Well, Anders, I am drinking a traditional thermos here. Water. Just water. I've only drank water since 2014 or so. That's the only liquid I've ever consumed, literally for 6 years. So, of course, it continues. It's great to be back on your show. Pound that like button, everybody. And I want to give a big shout out to UK Bitcoinmeister, who just finished his show. Everybody go over, follow him on Twitter also. He's an awesome dude. We all know him. And we timed this perfectly. So, all right, let's get this on, baby.
Awesome. Can I just ask you, Adam? So, what made you like only drink water, and so you're not having you're not drinking milk, juice, alcohol, anything like that? What's the reason for that?
Well, alcohol is poisonous, and I used to drink a lot. I used to party with the best of them, man. So I had my fun with the alcohol. Then juices, the sugar. Many juices are bad. They have added sugar, and I want to avoid the sugar. And water is simple. The body only needs water. Body does need water, people. But yeah, so I'm not into the sugars, and of course, and I never drank soda as a child or anything like that. So I never had a desire for it.
Right. Okay, and welcome to you also, Pop Lord. What are you drinking today?
Well, I'm simplifying my life to get down to a single thing like water. Unfortunately, my water now has some hops and barley, a little bit of malt. So I do enjoy good beer, obviously. Other than that, I really no sugar, no juice, soda. It's that, water, or black coffee. Those are my three vices right now.
Right. Sounds good. And cheers to you guys. I'm having my coffee here in the morning with my in my California mug. I don't know if we can see. Yeah, there we go. So the big news today, as I woke up, was BitMEX. Adam, what's going on with BitMEX? It seems that U.S. authorities have charged BitMEX with illegal activities. I think they've got 2 of the 4 directors in custody, which is a problem because apparently they have a multi-sig where they need 3 out of 4 to do withdrawals. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone can get their Bitcoin back. Of all of this is going on auction from U.S. authorities. But what have you heard so far, and what's your take?
Well, yeah, that last part about the multi-sig, if people are going to be able to get their funds back now. It was silly for them to have their funds there in the first place. It's just another lesson, a hardcore lesson. You don't put it's not your Bitcoin. It's Arthur's Bitcoin. And it looks like the United States wants Arthur's Bitcoin. He's the guy behind it, right? What's his full name? Arthur, whatever.
Arthur Hayes is the CEO, yeah.
Yeah. So Arthur Hayes has all the gamblers' Bitcoin. The United States doesn't like the gambling that he has going on over there. Okay, it was predictable. We've been through this kind of thing before. I'm just watching. And I see all the weak hands out there panicking and all the speculators selling to make other people sell. But the prices dropped like $400. How many times have we lived through this? This is the funny thing. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. What Arthur does is Arthur's business. And Bitcoin doesn't care about Arthur in the long run. It doesn't change the fact that Bitcoin is gold 2.0. It doesn't change the fact there are only going to ever be 21 million Bitcoin. This is a sideshow. People can do what they want to do with their Bitcoin. As I said before, the best thing to do with your Bitcoin is do nothing with your Bitcoin. Because when you do something with your Bitcoin, you end up dealing with third parties. And that's where all these complicated matters come into play. So again, it's an unconfiscatable asset if you control your own private key. Bitcoin was about getting rid of the third parties. People choose to play around with third parties, and this is what you get. And me, it's just, I've lived through this so many different times, so many different versions of it, and I predicted bigger versions of it. I guess this is a bigger version of it, but there'll be something bigger than this one day. So we'll see what happens. It's big news, obviously, because there's so many people that keep their Bitcoin over there. Oh well for them.
Yeah, it's a big gamble. Pop Lord, so I read a tweet from Nick Carter saying that Bitcoin has approximately 2 billion worth of Bitcoin in their vaults, which is around 1% of the Bitcoin that will ever be outstanding. It's a little bit more than 1% of what is currently out. So do you think that if U.S. authorities can confiscate this, is this U.S. way into becoming a Bitcoin government owning Bitcoin, or will this go to the auctions like so many times before, where guys like Tim Draper can come and load up on a lot of Bitcoin without moving the price?
Yeah, Tim, that's the first time I had heard of that. I remember I was talking to someone, they were saying, oh, it's gatable, or I was telling them it's unconfiscatable, and they said, oh, well, what about everything that the marshals got and then sold? I said, well, listen, man, they actually had the keys for that. So yeah, it's a great question. So the government a hold of it. Do they any smarter than they were back when they Tim Draper? Not to me. I mean, hell, they'll probably put it back on the market again. But Adam, you give him a shout out and credit, because after I started in December 2017, and just bought a little bit of everything. So fire first and then aim. And he was the first one that the first show I saw, which explained between Bitcoin and everything else. And by, I think it was February or March of that year, I was all in on Bitcoin. I converted everything else over. And I can't tell you how much he saved me in heartache and money on that. Like for years, we rail out your keys, not your coin. And people, they've heard it. I guess some people technically have the they're scared to do it. And look, I get it's not the easiest thing to do, but now you see why. Now you see why you need to educate yourself, get comfortable with moving your Bitcoin around and pulling off an exchange. Because what's next? Is it something that had an Armstrong, something at another exchange? People got to take personal responsibility.
Can everyone out there just let me know if you're hearing Popload okay? I'm having a little bit of scratch. What are you saying, Adam?
Yeah, it's. I was asking people. He's repeating for me too. It's like a double feedback or something like that. It keeps happening. I mean, I understood what he said and everything. Okay. And thank you for the compliments, dude. You are you've been paying attention to me for a long time. It's great to meet you in person.
Yeah, I just until we'll continue with BitMEX, but touching upon that, Adam, I remember from back in the 2017 watching your show, you keep saying 2020 halving, and that was like, this is this big thing, it's going to be a great event, it's going to be good for the price of Bitcoin, but it's so many years ahead, and now we are here, we even passed it, and we're just waiting to see what's going to happen with the price, right? So I just want to read another tweet regarding this BitMEX thing. This is Connor Crabtree, who's replying to a Nick Carter tweet. He's saying, this appears to be 2020's version of the Mt. Gox and Bitfinex in 2014 and 2016, respectively. Each of these marked the beginning of previous bull markets. I'd be buying on this news if I were a long-term spot holder. So do you think, Adam, is this bullish for Bitcoin? Is it bearish? It doesn't matter. What do you think this will do for Bitcoin?
I think it will give some people an opportunity to buy at a discount price. I don't think it's as big as Mt. Gox. It's not as big as Mt. Gox. The ecosystem was so small then. that was that was just overwhelmingly tremendous. This is more can be compared to the Bitfinex hack of 2016, I guess. But again, that was a hack, so that's a little bit scarier than a government doing something. And by the way, I can hear someone's background real loud all of a sudden, like a TV on or something like that. But yeah, this is a government doing it, and it's going to show you that a government cannot hack Bitcoin. A government can mess with third parties, and it's just that it's a lesson for people not to keep their Bitcoin on exchanges. So it's a bullish in terms of people learning lessons, and it's bullish in terms of people getting a discount price, at least for today. I think it might rebound real quick. But let's just see how this day plays out. We need clarification on what's going on.
Right. Pop Lord, I want to ask you a question now, but when you're not talking, we might need you to mute because there's a lot of happy hour going on in the background.
Yeah.
But let me know what do you think? How will this affect the price of Bitcoin? I mean, we saw here in the morning it's dumped like for $500 down. But what do you think will be the medium and long term effect on Bitcoin's price of this?
Well, if we notice anything, since we went to 9,000 and pushed 10,000, as soon as we hit those walls and we're selling, people were buying it up, and by people I mean probably Michael. So I think short term, yeah, it drops, but guess what? Every month that goes by, it come back stronger than ever. It does drop, but I think there's going to be people out there right now buying it up.
Right.
I would say long term, people will forget this, just like they forgot the Bitfinex hack in 2016. In 2024, No one's going to remember this. No one's going to remember this day. No one's going to care that it dropped $500 on a day. I mean, it'll be in 2024 when it might be in the 6-digit realm for all we know. Who's going to remember a day it dropped $500? This is why you have to think long term. And you have to remember that we've been through things like this plenty of times, and this is not as big as Mount.
No, it's as you say, Adam. That's the ecosystem is a lot bigger. The Bitcoin is way more spread out on many more exchanges in many more private hands with private keys. So it does become a smaller event. Although anyone who do have their coins on BitMEX are probably not very happy at the moment. But Adam, also want to ask you about your expectations for this bull run that we believe the 2020 halving is kicking off, and also MicroStrategy. So I think everyone was thinking that the Bitcoin price mainly will be driven by, speculators like the three of us and others believing that one day Bitcoin will be a huge money. So, buying some in anticipation of it actually being used as money at one stage. And what we see then out of nowhere comes MicroStrategy that is not investing or speculating in Bitcoin, but is actually going out and using it as money to store value. And therefore, all of a sudden, we get this major use case of $425 million actually using Bitcoin as money and having a big positive effect on the sentiment of Bitcoin. What do you think about MicroStrategy starting to use Bitcoin actually as money, not speculating?
Well, I got to tell you, the day when the news became official, first of all, before it was official, I helped spread the word. No one was talking about it at the beginning. I guess it was the beginning of August when the rumors first came out. I was talking about it. But when it became official, I said that day, this is the biggest Bitcoin news of the freaking year. And I was going wild. If you think I'm wild right now, I was going really wild then. And to this day, I still think that is the biggest Bitcoin news of the year, that a big corporation is using it to store value, to instead of holding on to cash, their cash is Bitcoin. And since then, that dude, Michael Saylor, has taken it to a new level. He's been on shows. He has on the site, on the MicroStrategy page, they have a Bitcoin page now. He is just he's laid it all out there. I mean, he's gone beyond what I thought. He's become like a cult hero here in Bitcoin land. I mean, people are just almost worshiping him now. Now you can't put him on a pedestal, but he sets an example here. Okay, if only one company ever does this, then it's not that big of a deal. But you know that other companies are going to follow his lead. He was the first to put it all out there on the line to make it public, and now it won't be weird for other boards of directors to approve such purchases at their corporations. So I think it is the start of a bigger trend, a very bullish trend. He owns, I forgot what the percentage is that he owns. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but like 0.1% of all the Bitcoin that's ever going to be created, or it's a tremendous number. But imagine if 10 other companies do that, 100 other companies do that.
Right.
There's not going to be enough. There's not going to be enough Bitcoin. So I do talk about how, one person can't change Bitcoin. Arthur Hayes, he can't change Bitcoin on the negative side. On the positive side, one person can't change it. But if he inspires a lot of other people and a lot of other corporations, it is going to make a big difference in the Bitcoin price. At least Bitcoin will still be 21 million, but there'll be more people holding on to it and valuing it and knowing it. So it will definitely make a difference in terms of price, and it's a much bigger news story. Something positive like that than something negative that happened today.
Absolutely, it's a huge thing. I think we're gonna try Poplord again. I'm gonna unmute you. See if we can get the sound going. Pablo, we've already spoken a few times about MicroStrategy because just like Adam, we believe it's a huge thing. So just quickly, what's your comment on all of us expecting Bitcoin price being driven by speculation, and all of a sudden someone is actually using it to the tune of $425 million. Your comment on that?
Yeah, right. So I know Adam said this is the biggest news of the year. I think it's the biggest news that I've ever heard. I've been here almost 3. What they've done is they've turned it. No one was really expecting it. For a company to do this, and they have almost 0.2% right now of all Bitcoin ever, and when you factor in the fact that they basically bought 40 of supply, and 9 Bitcoin a day, they've bought up 42 days of supply. You need another 8 companies to come in and per out in the annual supply this year would be, and it's absolutely amazing. And to go 85%, 90% in, yeah.
Unfortunately, there's some looping on your sound. There's a bit of echo. I'm gonna mute you, and I don't know, maybe.
Right. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
Let me exit and come in.
All right, yeah.
Let me try to fix it here. All right.
Yeah, we can carry on without you. You just work on your technicals. We got it taken care of here. I can talk up
absolutely. Adam, so what Pablo was a little bit touching upon is, I believe it was close to 0.2% of all Bitcoin ever outstanding that has been bought by this. Until recently, I guess for most people, unknown, however, a listed public company. But it's pretty impressive that, a company that I had never heard of bought almost 0.2% of all Bitcoin ever outstanding. So we spoke about 2020 having lack of supply is always historically has helped push a bull run and the price higher. What's your expectations, Adam, for this bull run?
Well, I believe in the 210,000 block theory, that you take any moment in time in Bitcoin and you subtract 210,000 blocks, and the fiat value, the dollar value of Bitcoin is more. And things seem to be, and it's 210,000 blocks between halvings. Okay, so that's how we measure time in Bitcoin. Value your time in halvings. Pound that like button, people. But so 210,000 blocks ago was what was it? Where it's October 1st today. It was December 1st of 2016. So the way I see it is that right around December 31st of 2016 it was actually January 1st of 2017 that we we basically said hello to $1,000 again. Bitcoin had not been at $1,000 since the Mt. Gox days. So probably, by the end of this month, into next month, we're going to get to a point where it's pretty obvious Bitcoin is on an upward trajectory. And the fun and games should begin a few months after that, just like it did in 2017. It really started, the price started to really go up there. So I think 2021 is the next 2017. We've been waiting it for a while. And part of 2017 was fueled by the madness of the ICOs. And we have something similar this time around with the DeFi. People can't stop talking about the DeFi. And we should get a lot of newbies in. This time around, it's going to be obviously more mainstream. We didn't have anything close to MicroStrategy last time. And it's just fascinating and puts a big smile on my face to see how every 4 years it does just get bigger and bigger. And you can't imagine, I couldn't imagine last time that in 4 years that we'd have a public company buying all that Bitcoin. And they're not even in like the thousand largest public companies. It's not like it's a Fortune 400 or a Forbes 400 company. So we still have all those companies to jump in here also. And but yeah, going back to people to what your question was, it's all cyclical, and we're about to see another 2017 and 2021. Just be patient, people. In order to get, we're one day closer to an all-time high. In order to get there, we have days like this. They're going to be one-off events where third-party entities make tremendous mistakes that scare a lot of people and make foolish people say, "Oh, look, Bitcoin can be hacked. Bitcoin can be controlled by the government," when it's in fact a third-party or an exchange that's being hacked or controlled by the government.
Yeah, it's not Bitcoin that's been hacked. It is a third party that has been hacked.
It's cyclical. It's cyclical FUD too out here. We've seen all this repeated over time. The same lines from the no coiners. Bitcoin, when there's a Bitcoin exchange, Bitcoin can be hacked. When the government shuts down a business, the government can interfere with Bitcoin. It's people have to get used to the cyclical aspects of it. They're negative cyclical aspects in the ecosystem, and they're very positive ones too, like this 210,000 block theory I'm talking about.
Right. So you were here even significantly before the 2016 halving. You've seen the anatomy of a bull run before, and I love to hear your memory of the 2016 and 2017 bull run, because I mean, as I see it, it really usually starts out fairly flat. It takes a while for that lacking supply to push the price to the previous all-time high. 2016 was nothing big, even though we had half a year post-halving there. It was really like after 4, 5, 6 months that the price started going higher. Can you hear me, Adam?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so what is your comments on the steepness of the bull run curve as we move throughout the first half year, so 2020 and 2021?
I think where we are right now resembles a lot of late 2016. We were stuck between 600 and 700, but we had left $500 behind. So now we're stuck between 11,000 and 12,000, or 10,000 and 12,000, and we've left $9,000 behind. And so when you look back on it, you can, when people look back on this, they will see that it was rising. But what I specifically remember about 2017 is that when we did enter it, people were happy that we put $1,000. We got back to $1,000. Okay, people were happy about that, and we did get to an all-time high at the beginning of 2017. We broke through $1,150, whatever the all-time high was previous to that. So I expect us to get by $20,000. In I don't know the exact dates, but March of 2021, and it'll become pretty obvious to people at that point. And there will be FOMO. There was FOMO then. But what we had also was the Bcash situation going on. And there was uncertainty about the Bcash situation. And third parties, they have every right and the ability to scare people about Bitcoin. And I would not be surprised if when we get to an all-time high at the beginning of 2021, in the first quarter of 2021, if it's then, which would not shock me at all, that we have some more drama. There's always going to be drama. We had drama today. So even during these bull runs, you can have drama where there are big drops, where it gets to an all-time high, but then falls down again. And people start to lose perspective too. Like we might be stuck around 22,000 for a while, and then it drops to 17,000, and people become depressed when they don't remember a few months ago, it was stuck at $10,000. People need to be able to keep it in perspective, because by the end of the bull run, you're not going to care about 17,000. You're not going to care about 22,000. You're going to see that, whoa, we're in a whole new realm here. Now, I'm not making predictions or anything like that, but I'm just remembering back in 2017, people, were like, oh, we were at 3,000 and now it's not above 3,000. And all of a sudden, one day it goes 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000. You're just like, it becomes madness. And the thing about Bitcoin, those moments of madness, those days of madness, there are not that many days of them, but when you have them, it's insane. It is absolutely insane. That was late 2017. In November and December of 2017, there were just some amazing times when it finally just blew up and went from 12,000 to 20,000. And that's the madness of Bitcoin. But it's only a few days, and then people can become sad when they don't see that happen constantly. And that's why you have to be a long-term thinker. That's why you don't wait for those days to happen. You buy so you understand that in the future those days will happen. And if you believe in that stock to flow model, it is you get stuck in a whole new area, that quote unquote stuck in a whole new area eventually, and you never return back to we're never going back to the 3-digit realm where it's below $1,000. One day we're never returning to the 4-digit realm where it's below $10,000. And God willing, one day we never return to the 5-digit realm. It seems like a dream now, but maybe one day it won't be. So,
yeah, no, I think that's realistic. Yeah, you're right. You're talking about once again after the 4-year cycle, getting back to the previous all-time high, and it seems that back in those days, end of or early 2017, until Bitcoin price once again hit that 1,100, that was the previous all-time high. There's a lot of doubt in the air until people see that Bitcoin actually is at the highest price ever, a new high. It'll probably be the same this time around. There will be doubt until we reach 20,000. And once we pass 20,000, it's kind of like the green light, let's go. And the bull run sort of really takes off. And then it starts to get steeper. So what do you think is realistic if you have any expectations to how high will we go in this halving epoch before the 2024? Do you have any guesstimations on the price? It doesn't have to be something you're held accountable for, but just a wild guess.
I think what everybody wants, and I would be overjoyed if it gets to the 6-digit realm, if it gets to $100,000. But to tell you the truth, I'm just happy if personally, the way I bought Bitcoin, because remember, my whole big saying was 2020 halving. So I set up my life in a way where I'll be happy if it's just and it will during this epic, it will break the previous all-time high. That's all. That'll make me happy. $21,000 will make me happy. But I think it's quite realistic. A realistic expectation for it to be double the last all-time high at the next all-time high. $40,000. But based on the numbers, if you base it on what it's done the other times, it really should get quite close to $100,000. But I don't like to make predictions like that.
Right.
Yeah. People, if you think here we go, guys. If you really think it's going to be $100,000 by by October of next year, because that would be the equivalent of December of December of 2017. The equivalent 210,000 blocks later is October of 2021. If you really think it's going to be $100,000, then you have no excuse but to be like turn all your money into Bitcoin, basically. If you really think that. So I mean, there's some people love to make these clickbait titles and everything, and all they're doing clickbait titles for is so they can make money off of YouTube to get a bunch of viewers. So I mean, that's total nonsense. Let's talk reality here. What I did back in my day, I turned all my money into Bitcoin because I thought it would be over $3,000. That's what I that's what I wanted. Okay, that back when it was $600, and I had already purchased quite a few Bitcoin at that point in my life in 2016 when it was $600. I thought to myself, you know what? If I want to be set for life, and do I really believe this thing is going to be $3,000? And I said, yes, I do. So I purchased enough to, put myself in that position. I got rid of all my cash basically at that point. And it was, as everyone, and people can do the math on that if they want to. Is it over $3,000? Do I have a big smile on my face? So, I mean, there's lots of people love to talk, make all these big predictions. So are you going to walk the walk? Do you really believe it, people? All the people out there that love to make these big predictions. So there's your perspective on it.
Right. Well, I believe I do walk the walk just like you. But at the same time, I do find it interesting to look at history and try and see what's going on and what we can expect. If we look at the previous bull runs after there has been this like major 70-80% corrections, then the next bull run does get Bitcoin historically 5 to 17 times higher than the previous all-time high. I tweeted that out more than 2 years ago, and that would actually, if that was to happen, if history was to repeat, but there's no guarantees of that, then the high would be somewhere between 100 and 340,000. And to be honest, I find that to be fairly realistic.
I want to comment on that. So if it does get up to $100,000 for the next big push in October of 2021, let's say, people have to understand that that's just our first introduction to $100,000. It will drop down to $40,000 from that. Okay, there is going to be a day in the future or a week in the future where you're going to have to hold on to your cojones, okay? It's going to be scary as anything. Drops so big, there's going to be a drop so big, bigger than what we're at right now. We're at what we're at right now, $11,000 or whatever it's at. I don't even know what it is.
$10,500.
$10,500. Okay, we'll have a day or a multi-day period where it drops that much once we're at the 6-digit realm. So people just, I put that warning out there before, but the thing is that if it hits $100,000 in late 2021, then in 2025, $100,000 will be quite normal. Okay, just like now, $10,000 is normal, but in 2017 it was freaking amazing. Okay, but from when it hit $10,000 in 2017, we would eventually go back down to $3,000 a couple times. So so the real question is, when will all that madness stop? And I think after 2028 halving, things will be more stable in terms of long-term price drops that I just described. I still think 2024 that epic. We're going to see some craziness. But I do want everybody to prepare for when we get to six-digit realm that we're going to have a giant drop after it. I mean, and if it does get to $300,000, it'll even be scarier, the kind of drop we're going to have.
Yeah. I don't think we'll see $3,000 again, but it's a dangerous thing to say, but I really don't think that's likely. What I also just want to say, a little bit along the lines of what you're saying is people have to realize that nothing goes up in a straight line. So Bitcoin does not move up in a straight line, and neither do other assets. So don't expect that we won't see corrections. And in the last bull run, even after the halving where supply is kind of missing in the market, Bitcoin saw, it was either 5 or 6 30% corrections. What we've seen this morning is less than 5%, it's maybe 3%. But 30% corrections is something you have to be prepared for. You got to keep your Adam Meister strong hand and not panic sell, but ride it to higher, in my opinion. But Adam, also, I just want to ask you, the current macroeconomic environment that no one could have foreseen in January of this year, with a lot of money printing going on, economic shutdown, etc. How do you see that affecting Bitcoin going forward with this whole situation and a lot of money printing?
Well, I could have never predicted this. That all of a sudden universal basic income would be demanded by all sorts of people. It's a new normal in politics. It's becoming a regular talking point for Democrats and leftists everywhere. So that involves a lot of watering down of the currency, and all of these government programs, all of these bailouts. It's going to help Bitcoin. There are people that are waking up to the fact that why would I save in something that can be just printed out of thin air like this and may be used for all sorts of radical programs that were considered radical back in 2019, which was only a few months ago. What was considered radical in 2019 in terms of economic programs, everybody's talking about it now. Everybody wants this kind of stuff. So, because the United States is the world reserve currency, the dollar might not be as, they can keep on printing the dollar, and it might not destroy people's wealth as fast as some people think. It will destroy your wealth. So I'm giving a message out there to all the countries outside of the euro, outside of the yen, outside of the dollar. You guys are absolutely freaking insane now after what you've seen these last few months. To have a bank account in South African rand or New Zealand dollars or all sorts of other currencies that might seem okay. Well, I was about to say Argentine pesos, but that's not okay. Now is the time to change those second tier and third tier fiat into Bitcoin, because they're going to do the money printing. The U.S. dollar being printed to oblivion probably affects a lot of these third world and developing countries a lot more than we fully understand. So this is no time to play around in developing currencies, developing countries. It's time to get into something that isn't changing, and that is Bitcoin. The whole United States could end up with a socialist president, okay? But a lot of stuff could change in the United States. But Bitcoin, even if all that happens, Bitcoin isn't changing. It is the rock, and people will understand that. And sadly, some are going to learn it the hard way. Some won't care at all, because some people are just going to be happy that they're getting a government check. They value their wealth in dollars, that they're going to still be able to get big screen TVs. Okay, that's good for them. That's good for them if they can keep on getting the latest and greatest big screen TV and be on welfare and be completely dependent on the government and worship whatever the government says. That's their perspective. I don't want to be that. I want to be in the Bitcoin overlay where I can go from city to city, country to country, live my life, not have to worry about a government check, not have to work for anybody else, be totally independent. That is what Bitcoin brings the world. And the world is becoming the 80%er world is becoming more of a dependent world, okay? But Bitcoin gives you that option to opt out of this dependent world and go into the Bitcoin overlay, which is a world of total freedom. So don't be sad, people, because, oh yes, everyone is losing their freedom. Everyone's scared of some disease out there. You don't have to play in that world if you're in Bitcoin. You really don't. So never get down. We're in a golden age in terms of technology and in terms of a financial revolution for those who want to be in it. Bitcoin is a world of proactive people. You can't just be an outsider and talk about all the theoretical awesomeness of Bitcoin. Okay, that's not going to get you anywhere. You got to own it, or you got to work in a business that deals with it. And there's so much opportunity in this ecosystem. So there's my little rant right there about the current system we're living in.
Absolutely love it, Adam. It's you always have a lot of good things to say, a lot of very interesting things to say. So when you talk to new people that haven't yet, bought any Bitcoin and not yet exposed, but may have heard of it and considering, do you feel that there's any difference now in people's attitude because of this whole money printing situation where fiat currency is becoming more obviously to most people that is being diluted faster? Like it's becoming more. But do you see any difference there in people's reaction to Bitcoin?
More people have heard of it. More people have heard of it because of the current situation, and more people who were just into gold beforehand have heard of it because of the current situation. People who have always been on the fence about maybe buying gold or buying something that would preserve the value of their wealth have heard about Bitcoin because of this situation. Now, have a lot of them made the move? I don't know. I do know with the government money printing that when they sent out or when they announced they were sending out the $1,200 checks, that Coinbase got a big increase in $1,200 purchases of Bitcoin. And I think that was coming from Bitcoin people that already held Bitcoin. I don't know how many newbies use their $1,200 checks to get Bitcoin. But more people
But has the environment influenced like people's openness towards a better, more sound money?
Yes. There's no doubt about it. There is no doubt about it that the current economic environment has pushed people toward sound money more. But they just have to figure out what sound money is, and that Bitcoin is the best one out there. So more and more people are discovering that. This is the fun thing. If the Michael Saylors of the world, they're helping pump up the Bitcoin price and put it into the news. So that will wake some of these people up who don't care about some of the things that Michael Saylor cares about in terms of Bitcoin, but just want to that wouldn't have heard about it otherwise without mainstream media coverage. So mainstream media covers big stories like Michael Saylor, and this will help people searching for a new form of sound money. So it goes hand in hand. There's all sorts of connections within the ecosystem here. So one story helps inform people about Bitcoin, people who never would have heard about it. And I'm expecting as the price rises, there will be more and more stories that the mainstream media will have to cover, and that will help feed even more people into Bitcoin.
Right, and as prices go up, or price goes up, that is probably the biggest marketing tool for Bitcoin, is people get interested in this asset because the price is rising. Adam, you've had me on your show a couple of times, and thank you very much for that. Always a pleasure and something I enjoy a lot. When I've been on there, you know that I'm one of the proponents believing in hyperbitcoinization, and that Bitcoin will become the one and only money of the world, and I also believe it will happen this decade. And I know you haven't exactly been in the, correct me if I'm wrong, you're not exactly on the same page as me, or?
I'm not.
Right.
I think Bitcoin will be the world reserve cryptocurrency as it is right now. It's the cryptocurrency that everybody tries to get into. But I think the dollar will remain the world reserve currency. I think that the dollar will become the Fed coin. It will have its own private blockchain. I mean, it won't be a real cryptocurrency, but it'll be, so many people are lazy out there. They're going to love their Fed coin, and they're going to think it'll be easier for them to deal with it than Bitcoin. So this stable coin stuff that's going on right now, this is going to be pretty big in helping keep fiat currencies alive. Now, it might destroy a lot of the third world fiat currencies. But no, what were we going to say? Sorry.
So my question is, when a company that is listed like MicroStrategy converts all of their cash into Bitcoin because they believe it's better, that's kind of my way of thinking, that Gresham's law, everyone will end up using the money that they believe is best. And I think the properties of Bitcoin is showing that it is best. that doesn't change your perception. I mean, they're not saying, okay, we're going to have half Bitcoin, half fiat dollars, because we still believe in it a little bit. That doesn't change your outlook
no,
on.
it doesn't, because most people are collectivists and want a strong leader to tell them what to do. Whoever's president of the United States will tell the people, look how easy we've made the dollar for you, and they'll give out Fed coin disbursements to people's private Fed coin addresses. People are going to be the dollar. People are they have the mindset the dollar is money. That is money. And look, they're giving it away for free. So I'm gonna stick in that realm, and it's so convenient. It will be more convenient than Bitcoin, Fed coin, or Euro coin, or whatever. So the masses are they're not thinking. They don't think at all. Look how scared they could be when CNN tells them to be scared. So they look how few people do research into economics. It's just too complicated for people. And if the United States makes it even easier to receive free money, people will value the dollar even more. Now, big institutions, they're going to catch on. They're definitely going to catch on. But the people, but the big institutions, there'll be reasons for them to hold dollar still also to deal with the people. I think Bitcoin will become a lot bigger. I think Bitcoin can be a huge success if only 10 to 20% of the whole world is using it. I mean, because right now it's so darn small, the percent of the people in the whole world. So I think smart economic institutions, businesses, they're going to get on the Bitcoin train, and but I don't see where we get to a time in the near future where all transactions are Bitcoin, where fiat is just in the dustbin of history. Okay, it's just too many people are addicted to the old way, and countries have too much at stake in the old way. And there's some entities that have a lot in stake in the old way and won't want to see Bitcoin survive either. But there'll be plenty of banks out there that will still be fiat banks, but there'll be Bitcoin banks too. There'll be people that have it both ways. So good, let people have it both ways. I'm not going to have it both ways. Okay, I'm going to be in Bitcoin. I have a little bit of cash, to go to the grocery or whatever, but none of my savings are in cash right now, nor will they ever be. And I think over time, few people will save in cash, because all the people I just described, they're not savers anyway. So they were never saving in dollars in the first place. Okay, so there'll be a noticeable difference by 2030 in how savers are saving, but most people aren't savers. So there you go. And there'll be less savers as time goes by. We have less and less people who have the ability to be not impulsive and defer gratification at all. It's becoming more and more of an impulsive world. So savers who stay savers are going to be more into Bitcoin, but the impulsive spenders, I don't see them getting into Bitcoin hardly at all.
Right. Yeah, and there's no doubt that the current fiat currency system is incentivizing people to go out and spend their money, because it's going to be worth less next year, instead of saving it. That's what Bitcoin changes, and we're going to have to see how does it all work out, and to which extent will people become savers, and who's going to stay spenders. I mean, my hope is that it's going to help change people in the long run to become savers. What else is going on in your world of the Bitcoin, or your side of the world of Bitcoin? Anything else, topics you find interesting right now? Lightning Network, anything news in Bitcoin that you want to discuss?
Yeah, I let the Lightning Network dudes do it on their own. Okay, I'm very patient with it. I'm in no rush to do microtransactions at all. I know a lot of people are. That is the beauty about Bitcoin. You can be a golden holder type of person, or you could be a person that is interested in microtransactions and technology and privacy. There's room for everyone in here. And I just want to say that, these last few months, I have encountered more guys. I think they're in their early 20s and stuff, and they are in motion. They're trying to get jobs in this space. I've been impressed by the guys at Bitcoin Magazine, like Christian, like Brandon, that I've had on my show. They're really smart guys, enthusiastic guys. They obviously didn't get into this in 2016 because they were super young then, but they've gotten in 2018, 2019, 2020. And I'm impressed with some of the generation, the younger generation of content creator type of people that are specifically associated with Bitcoin Magazine too. Those two guys in particular. But I've had I'm trying to get young, new guys on my show lately, and every one of them that I discover on Twitter, I'm very impressed by them because they're in motion. They're not just sitting there. They're trying to get jobs in the space. They got jobs at Bitcoin Magazine. So I just want to put that out there for anyone of any age. And first of all, you can just be a holder and do nothing with your Bitcoin. That's the best thing. And I love to do. But if you do need a job, you can get a job in this space. I mean, I helped got a guy. There was someone that was looking for a writer. I'm going to have him on my show tomorrow, actually. A guest who was just a regular guy, and a Bitcoin publication needed a writer. They said they needed a writer. He stepped up. He said, I could be your writer. Now he's the writer. Now he's appearing on my show tomorrow. So there's all sorts of opportunities in this space, not just for technical people. It's a golden age. Be proactive, people. Don't just be a tree. Search around. Don't be an algorithm slave. Don't go to what YouTube shows you. You got to actually go to some of these guest feeds. When I have Anders on my show, I list Anders' Twitter feed. Go to it. Go read it. Treat it as a web page. You can't just be a blind follower in anything you do. But so I do want to say I am impressed by the opportunities that are in this space for people who need jobs and the young people that are jumping on it. And I just want to tell people out there that think like, oh, well, I can't get a job if someone's going to get it before me. Dude, that's the wrong attitude to have because that's the attitude most people have. Go out there and grab it. The opportunity is here. So that's what I have to say about what's been going on.
Absolutely. Adam, you have so much great input and energy, and I think all of us love it, all of us watching your channel on a regular basis. And I'm glad to hear that you feel that there's hope for the young generation. Things will get better. I'm personally an optimist, and I'm very optimistic for the future. So, and also I just want to say to everyone, I've got Adam's Twitter listed below in the YouTube show notes. Definitely go follow Adam and read his tweets. Also, I'm going to put in your channel, Adam, so people can see your YouTube channel. I highly recommend following Adam's YouTube channel. And yeah, thank you very much for coming on, Adam. Love your energy, love lots of your, all your great energy and input. Is there anything you want to say before we end the show? Any final words? You can tell us if you're doing a show later today. Please feel free to shill it. And your show tomorrow, what can we expect? Tell us, please.
All right, yeah, I'll do a show probably right after this. This Week in Bitcoin is tomorrow. 3 awesome guests. It'll be on at noon Eastern time tomorrow. Again, I want to thank, we scheduled this perfectly. Watch UK Bitcoinmeister's channel. Keep on coming back here to Anders. Anders, I love that you're doing shows again. The last time I was on your show, I was leaving Darwin, Australia, and we were prepping for me to speak in Los Angeles in 2018. Dude, you are in motion in the Los Angeles community. Have events again. People go to his events in Los Angeles. And of course, what do I say on all my shows? Pound that like button, people. And yo, dudes, be in motion. You can have this energy also, dude. It's all love life. Don't be, most people are nihilists today. Dude, that's not how this is the golden age of the 2020s, baby. Be happy you're freaking alive, that you have a chance to be alive during this golden age. Down with nihilism. Strong hand. Awesome.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much, Adam, for having you on. Love it. I hope you will care to join again sometime in the near future, because it's always a blast to hang out with you and talk Bitcoin. Thank you very much. And to everyone out there, keep stacking sats.
See ya. Thanks.